Hey, my name is Kevin Wells. I work with the Sisters of Mary, World Villages for Children, and I've just spent a good amount of time here at Guadalajara, Boystown. And I was thinking last night, I have to leave today later on, which doesn't make me happy because of how my heart was lifted here. But I was thinking, what did I gather this time? And I was thinking, the devil hates this place. These 2,000 boys, the vast majority of them were bullied by Satan in their childhood. I've learned too many stories that seem to be diabolical. Why does the devil hate this place? Because when they enter as 11, 12-year-old boys, the sisters become blue-collar martyrs. And over again, the past several days, I've watched the sisters mother these boys back to health. I can't tell you of the supernatural value, the supernatural dimension of what I've seen here the past few days, how these kids are slowly rising from the dead. They're like little Lazaruses rising from the dead. Every day they're opening their tomb a little bit wider because the sisters love them, they mother them. They feed them with the sacraments at the Mass. They catechize them. There's the nightly rosary. There's the soccer games, the basketball, there's everything. So again, sorry Satan, but the sisters got your act, and these kids are coming on strong. And when they graduate as 17, 18-year-old boys, they're no longer boys. They're men on fire for God, and they're men on fire for taking on the world. So I want to tell you about Rodrigo. Rodrigo was asleep about 5 or 6 years ago in a small town in Mexico. A bad gang in the village decided to kill his parents. In the room next to him, he didn't know it, but his mother was having her throat slashed. At the same time, right next to her was Rodrigo's father, who was hung too. In the span of 45 seconds to a minute, he became an orphan. Really, for the year after, he was living alone in the house. Finally, an uncle found out about the situation of Rodrigo and his two sisters and said, "Come with us." Rodrigo's eyes, as I spoke to him yesterday, got to know him, they're sad eyes. They're still sad eyes. But the sisters still have time. Still have time to sort of raise Rodrigo from the dead. They know he's a special one. And sort of the head honcho of Guadalajara is Sister Hortensia. She said, "Rodrigo's mine. He's my corazon, he's my heart." So she's working more intensely with Rodrigo to try and remove these horrific, diabolical wounds. Sister Hortensia was telling me last night she will do whatever she can to make sure that on graduation day, Rodrigo graduates with a smile and with hope and with purpose and a goal. And Sister Hortensia knows how to do it. Showing Rodrigo what Rodrigo told me yesterday, he said, "Kevin, when I finally understood that Boystown was the place for me, is because it was the first time I ever felt wanted." So what, Rodrigo? I felt wanted here. I felt like I was a person. And slowly but surely, every kid in Guadalajara sort of heals at a different rate. Rodrigo's going to take a little bit longer. So pray for Rodrigo. He's got about 2 or 3 years left. He's coming along slowly, but he's going to get there. So I met Khalid this week, and Khalid was a fighter. He was a fist fighter. He was a scrapper. Grew up in a village, a remote village in Guerrero. Why was he a fighter? Because Mom beat him up. Didn't have a dad. Mom was violent with him. Slapped him around a good bit. So what happens when Khalid comes to Boystown, on that great day when he comes to Boystown, does it end? No, it picks up in velocity. Khalid starts getting in fights with his classmates. And in his second year, he was on the basketball court and he got in a fist fight. Kid was making fun of him because he wasn't scoring any points. So later on that day, they were in the classroom and the fight broke out again with the same kid. And Khalid said, "Man, sister warned me. If I got in another fight, it was time to go. I was going to get kicked out of Boystown." And the conversation came from his mother's sister and said, "Khalid, you're not going to be invited back to Boystown. I warned you." And Khalid begged. He said, "Sister, it's not going to happen anymore. I'm tired of living this way." And Khalid finally broke out the story of his childhood, where he grew up in a village of human trafficking, where some of his friends just were picked up and vanished at the age of 8 and 9. There was narco trafficking. There was murders. it was a land of devastation in this remote village in Guerrero. So Sister began to understand that the violence that he grew up with was now the violence in his heart. So now Sister had something to work with. Said, Khalid, I'm going to give you another chance. And not only did he never get in another fight, he said, what can I do with this? He said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to become a soldier. And he said, Kevin, you know what? Next year at this time, hopefully I'll be in the Mexican army, but you know what's better? Is I'm going to start fighting for God. Because what these sisters showed me, they showed me that if I got my heart right, if I got my spirit right, that this warrior that lives in me can be a warrior for Mexico, but even better, a warrior for God. So this is sort of the resurrections by the hundreds that unfold every year in Guadalajara, Mexico. Why? Because these Sisters of Mary say, I will not let this child be attacked by the violence of their youth. I will remove the wounds the best I can so this child can be set free to love the world and to do their best to show the face of Jesus Christ to whoever they encounter as graduates. Well, thanks for sitting through this video. Hopefully it captured not only two boys, Rodrigo and Khalid, but the spirit of the sisters and what goes on here in Guadalajara. I imagine most of the people watching this are Americans. Why does Guadalajara matter? Because these kids, these are the future missionaries of Christ throughout Mexico and the rest of the world in these different boys' towns and girls' towns. Brazil, Chalco, Honduras, Guatemala, Philippines, Tanzania. These kids who have been so bullied by life, who are loved back to health by the Sisters of Mary, these are the future missionaries for the church. Why? Because they were dead. The sisters raised them back to life, and they say, I know other people out there that seem like their souls are crushed or their souls are suffering. I was there at one point. So I'm going to do what the sisters taught me. I'm going to show them the face of Jesus Christ. So I encourage you, this is real, this is raw, this is not silly stuff, this is not made up. So I encourage you, if you've been moved, pray over helping the sisters. They got 20,000 kids. It takes a lot to buy new shoes, new socks, new sweaters. So please support this mission of the Sisters of Mary. I don't know what better you can do with your tithe than giving to the Sisters of Mary, who are taking the broken and raising them up. Thank you very much.